much more that goes on. We even sort it out. We put all the plastics together, we put all the
paper together. We do have a recycle bin at home that we use, but
practice this so
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Where It All Happens at the Olympian Table. I'm here with my good friend, James Lee. And
hello. Welcome back, man. You took a week off on us, man.
I did. Had a sort of
take care of some
interesting
business.
week is the best way to put it. Yeah, Leadership Council. And we also have got Mr. Jack Williams here.
Oh, yeah.
He always likes to put his penny, you know, he's got the pennies
the brains behind this machine, right?
Yeah. Got to tell you real quickly. Have you seen what Bitcoin got to this week?
You know what? It was having quite a run yesterday. I didn't look so much this morning.
But last night it came down to 55. But you know,
I think when I looked this morning, last night before I went to bed, it was back up above 55. And
one of my mentors that I work with on cryptocurrencies said that Bitcoin will be up, and he said this about 2 weeks ago, says Bitcoin will be up to 60,000 by Christmas. And when he got to 57, I'm like, he needs to adjust his calendar.
He might be a little off. It might be Thanksgiving, right?
No, I think by the end of October.
Yeah, it'll. I mean, because it's too close.
I think 80K
already
by December.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was that conservative, but there you go.
Yeah, that's FUD in my opinion.
Yeah, that's but it's good. So
56 at the moment.
Yeah. 56 229.
Yeah, I got a nice little right here. I actually bought like 54.8. Got a nice little snipe.
Okay.
On the chart. That's pretty cool.
If you don't have any of this, people, even if you don't understand it,
what are you doing?
Buy you some.
What are
You
you doing?
if you buy McDonald's French fries, don't do that.
Buy Burger King.
Although they're delicious, get you some Bitcoin.
Yeah, like Gary Gensler said, just $5.
$5. You got to start somewhere. Put you some money in this cryptocurrency because it's happening. It is.
We'll talk about this more.
We will talk more for sure.
We got some stuff on the show today about it. But the thing about Bitcoin, hey, if you don't pay your taxes, what is the IRS going to do? They're going to lock you out of your TD Ameritrade account. They're going to lock your bank account.
Yeah.
They're going to do all this stuff. But guess what? They're not locking your Bitcoin wallet. I guarantee you that much.
They can't. Absolutely. So there you have it, folks. You got to, we'll talk a little bit more about it. And these are opinions, just so you know.
Yeah.
We're not giving you advice.
Financial advice.
At all. Not at all. Just tell you that, hey, you should do it. You should definitely do it. So we got, last week was pretty good, but of course, you know, with having you back, our resident Olympian, just a little bit of, I guess, if we call it resident real estate business. Interest rates are still low. I'm in a group on Facebook and people get in all the time and they'll say, "Hey, I'm getting a 3% on blah blah blah. Is that too high?" And we always say, "Are you serious?"
When I got here, it was 18%.
Exactly. It's like, you got to be kidding me. No, it's not too high. Get in there and lock it in. Stop shopping. Get off of Facebook. But you know, there's always a question on whether or not you should buy down your rate.
Is this the article that I put in?
Yeah. You put that in, and I never, if someone wants to buy down their rate, I never talk, you know, I never say, hey.
You and me know we've had practical experience about somebody wanting to buy their rate down, and did they regret it?
Yes, they did.
They did. I got a loan through James, and he told me not to buy the rate down. And I paid, what, $9,000 or something?
Yeah, extra. And really, the main reason why I would even advise against it at any moment is because you do the calculation. How much does it cost you? What you're going to save? Do a little bit of, you know, division, multiplication, boom, boom, boom. If you're not going to recoup that money in a certain amount of time, then it's not going to be worth it. And in the case with Steve, rates ended up going down lower anyways, but he can always sit to say that I advised him properly.
I'll tell you the biggest mistake I made with that, though.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, is because it was an investment property for an investment property, I feel that I got dragged into what everybody thinks is the interest rate, the interest rate, the interest rate. And when you do the math, to be perfectly honest, it's so negligible.
For investment properties.
because I just wanted that cash flow because I knew I was going to have my bad months, or trying to prepare in case I've got any repairs to make. So that month's going to be a negative, And I feel I got dragged into the mistake that a lot of people make, which is, the cash flow.
And I gotta get the lowest, right?
But the truth of the matter is, if you buy a residential property, in all fairness, the first 2 or 3 years, you're not going to make more. You're not going to make that much cash flow on it anyway.
Right. Because that's when you're paying into most of the interest anyway. So you're doing that. Unless you're doubling up a payment or something.
So even with me paying it down at, an extra $9,000 to pay it down, it still didn't help my cash flow.
Not as much as you thought it would have.
No, I mean, the property's gone up since then. That's really where the appreciation is, rather than, the monthly. And the other part is, I don't know, but just my opinion is, from a tax point of view, I'm thinking, what I should have done? I should have just gone ahead and took more of a tax break.
Could have. Most definitely could have.
So is there any cases that you feel it should be, like on a refi or anything?
Sure. If you're going to be in your home and, hey, this is my last time doing it, I don't plan on moving, and it makes sense. The cost of it makes sense because typically you have when you're buying points, a point is 1% essentially of the loan amount. So if you're going to buy that point, and it'll just for example's sake, if it's equivalent to a quarter of a point discount from the interest rate, if that's going to save you, let's say $80, then you want to just say, okay, for that $80, if that 1 point is going to cost me $1,000, how long is it going to take me to recoup that $1,000? That's what you want to look at it. So you'll be looking at, a little over a year at $80 a month for that. So more than likely, that's going to be worth doing it because you plan to be in that house for more than a year. But if it's going to take you 6, 7, 8 years to recoup the costs or the savings from what you're going to be paying up front, you may as well not do it. Keep that money in your pocket.
So for some refis, it's not really worth doing it.
Sometimes it isn't. So sometimes when I see someone looking to maybe 1 point, but when they're looking to do 2, 3, 4, 5, it's just it's ridiculously. It's not going to save you the money that you think it would save. You'd be better just saving that money, putting it in your account. For a rainy day, or hey, putting it in some Bitcoin, letting it grow for you. So I'm not going to say you can't buy down points because I think in some cases it will work in your favor.
How about a home equity line of credit?
What about it?
If you want
points?
if you want to pull equity out of your home and put it into something else, I mean, is that?
Well, you can do that, and lines of credit you can actually do that. They are very, very beneficial in some cases because you don't have to reapply to be in it. It works like a big credit card. So once you have it open, you use it. You're only paying the interest on what you have drawn out.
And when you use it.
Right. So if you got $100,000 line of credit, but you've only used $5,000, then you're not making a payment on $100,000 versus on a loan you're making a payment over on $100,000. So there's some benefits to that line, those lines of credit that you can use. But I would say I'm not against buying down points, but I always recommend when I look at it, I do the calculation, say, listen, you can do it, or you can keep your money, in your account. Because people don't realize it doesn't really going from 3 1/8 to 3 1/4 doesn't make as much a difference in payment as some would think that it would. So that's that on interest rates, sir.
And I think that's one of the biggest confusion points from people that are buying houses. There's a lot of people that buy a house for the first time can't understand paying the loan officer, to set up the loan, but there's a lot of work involved in that, finding the right product.
Right.
I think it's very undervalued by a lot of first-time home buyers because they think it's just free. They just think you're there, giving your advice for nothing but setting it up.
You know what I found, and this has really just been here lately since I've been in one of these groups, and this is, of course, no knock on the real estate community, agents that is, but majority of the customers, they will lean on their realtor to kind of know the loan stuff. You know, hey, what should I do with this? Or what should I do with that? And sometimes you'll have an agent that they don't know. They are not versed.
And they're taking a throw at it, but don't,
exactly.
And you and me know that they shouldn't be giving loan advice.
They shouldn't be giving it.
They haven't got a loan license. They're not
exactly. You shouldn't be doing it at all. But in this group, man, my realtor told me that such and such and such, and I was like, well, first of all, you need to talk to your loan officer. That's not a realtor question. You need to talk to your loan officer to get that kind of moving. And any agent that's worth their weight, they would advise speaking to a licensed loan officer, because I wouldn't talk to real estate. I don't have a real estate license. I wouldn't get in. Hey, talk to your realtor.
And a lot of people don't feel comfortable. Like some agents, not a lot, don't feel comfortable telling people that I don't know the answer to this because I'm not a lender, because they feel like it gives off this connotation that they're not involved in the business. But it's like, it's not my job. I would rather you go to a lender to figure that out. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing.
Exactly.
You don't have to have all the answers all the time.
You don't. You really don't. But it is what it is.
That's very true. That's very true.
So yeah, that's a little sprinkle of real estate that we give you this morning.
No, we got some more coming up.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We talked about this one yesterday. FTX is cryptocurrency exchange started by a young man out of California.
This dude isn't even 30, huh?
Yeah, he is. So he's a billionaire by the age of 29.
Oh my goodness.
He's I think he's the richest 30 under 30. Forbes just did an article about him. His name's Sam Bankman, and he's the creator of FTX. And so FTX is partnering with 11, which is it's like a real estate business, but they do a lot of clubs in Miami. And so what's happening is FTX is going to transact cryptocurrencies for their real estate with FTX. So this would be equivalent to Coinbase being the exchange currency for like a title company or something. So, and it says in here, as FTX continues to grow its presence in the Miami area, we couldn't think of a more ideal time to work with such a prestigious cryptocurrency exchange platform. Managing partner of PMG, co-developer of 11 hotel and residencies in Miami. Why it matters. The development marks FTX's entry into the real estate market and establishes developers PMG and 11 partners as real estate trailblazers. PMG first announced it would accept cryptocurrency for condominium deposits in pre-construction projects through 11 hotel and residencies in Miami. There's another part in here that I thought, if I can find it. But yeah, Miami is going crazy right now. They have their own cryptocurrency. It's called Miami Token or something. Yeah. So you can go and use that around there.
I did hear about that. They're doing a lot of cryptocurrency. I mean, a big boom that's drawing like worldwide attention to that Miami area.
Yeah.
Just in that alone. So
this is at least in my experience, the first big breakthrough into the real estate market, because I've been knowing it's going to come, but it's interesting to see how it's playing out. And I thought it said something in here about through the aforementioned deal, buyers utilizing cryptocurrency for either the remaining available inventory at the development or each following deposit will have their payments converted through FTX. So you're basically paying the same way. You're just doing it through a different bank, so to say.
Gotcha.
And this will be interesting as time goes on, because I don't know if you remember last week when I told you, James, about like the staking pools and stuff. Right. Because there's ways, since it's a decentralized pool of money. Like, for example, I put in a section of my portfolio into a pool of money that people can lend out. Yeah. And since it's a decentralized pool and there's no bank taking a fee, I make more of that percentage on my APY. So I'm getting like a 30% return on an APY just for holding money somewhere, because that ledger is what it is lending that money out for me. So if you get to that point with like lending, real estate lending, it'd be really interesting.
That's
very interesting.
That is very interesting. It's interesting already.
Yeah, I think that's a long way down the line, 10, 20 years. But the fact that we will be able to lend each other our own money and earn an interest on it.
Absolutely.
So people can buy things, real estate, cars. Awesome. It's a big breakthrough right here, I think. Yeah,
that's a stretch above the Bitcoin real estate office that's in Austin. This is a whole different platform because they are actually the exchange for it. So that's if this wasn't proof that it's coming. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Real estate is it. It's what keeps the economy afloat. So you guys, if you're not in some of this cryptocurrency, get in some of this crypto. What would you say, Jack? What are you doing?
Yeah, and it's like FTX. They bought the Miami Heat stadium too, like the rights to it. Like, they're just going crazy. They signed the football Tom Brady.
Oh, the
Tom
Buccaneers.
Brady. Yeah, he signed to FTX as an athlete.
Really?
Yeah, so they're doing really good with the marketing stuff. It'd be interesting to see where they end up.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
That is that's good to know. So it'll be what, FTX Arena down there in Miami?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me hold on. We can look it up.
I'm sure they probably paid a grip.
Yeah, FTX Arena.
Oh, there it is.
So.
FTX Arena. Sounds great to me, man.
Yeah.
I'm. It's everything kind of starts skeptical about certain things, and when something's new, people don't get ready really dive into change. But shoot, they don't even want you to pay cash for stuff around here, so they just kind of let you know that we're just further and further into this digital market.
I tried to give my friend cash for something the other day, and he literally didn't take it. He was like, can you just Venmo me? I don't want cash. I was like, I'm trying to give you the cash because I don't want the cash.
Right.
What do you mean?
What I want to know is how does not having cash affect some occupations, taxi drivers or people that are relying on that cash that's sort of off the books?
If anything, I think it makes them safer. In my opinion.
I think so too.
Well, it might do, but I mean, honestly, I caught a cab last week. Perfectly.
That's why if you use Uber, you don't need.
And I felt sort of guilty for the guy. I mean, he went above and beyond. I would like to give him an extra.
I rarely carry cash, so I'm guilty of that. But I use Uber though, so Uber you can put the tip
Uber,
on there if
that's
you want.
That's all taken care of. That's to your card.
Right there, just get out and leave.
Yep.
No guilt needed.
Yeah.
No, but
dude still.
To your point, it's interesting you said that about the cab because there was a video going around of this Uber driver that got pulled over, and this guy jumps in the front seat with a gun to rob him, while he has a patron in the back, and the guy's like, give me your money, give me money. He said, bro, I don't have any money. It's like, no, you drive me. He said, man, it's electronic. There is no money here. He said, well, give me your wallet. He's like, no, I'm not giving you my wallet. And I guess the guy left the door open. So once he kind of turned his head a bit, the dude sped off and he fell out of the car. And the guy in the back in the Uber, he said, man, that was pretty bad, man.
Yeah, you should have tipped him extra.
This idiot gets in the car to rob an Uber driver that has no currency. It's all electronic. It's like, bro, bad move. But his face was completely on the camera, so he'll go to jail eventually, I'm assuming.
Good.
I am assuming. Well, moving on. Well, you know what? While we're in that Miami vein, before we move on.
Oh, yeah. Good call.
How about we just talk about this knucklehead? I know not a lot of people really were upset about his departure, but Chief Art Acavedo was here in Houston, and he went to Miami, and they were touting him as Superman. I mean, he was just going to kind of come in there and get things in order and make sure that it was moving and shaking. And as of I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday, he's out of Miami. They are going to be firing him from the Miami Police Department after less 6 months or so. He kind of went in like a bull in the china shop. Bull in the china shop, apparently, firing people, changing a lot of the way things are done. He made a comment about them being like the Cuban mafia, which was upsetting to many people inside the organization. He wanted the internal investigations on the department to be done by their own people inside, which is, that's kind of suspicious, anyways. But nevertheless, fired a lot of folks, a lot of stuff. He is just gone in there, and after 6 months, he is suspended. He is out of there. He is gone, and I guess Miami has decided that this was a mistake in their part to even bring him in. So I don't know, man. After being in California, he was in Austin, then he came to Houston, and then Miami. Where does he land next? Where do you put someone?
He's running out of homes.
It's like NBA, you know, when you go to all the teams, and then at that point you just got to go overseas.
Hey, something, man, or start your own private security business or something, which he probably could do.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's some fool that would hire him.
I don't know. He may come back to Houston, but man,
as a patrol officer,
who knows, man? Talk about a fall from grace.
Oh, put him on parking duty.
I know we're short on police officers here in the area, so they may take him back, but I'm not certain that he'll be taking. He won't be the chief, of course, but you know, nonetheless, some folks might have liked him. Some people may not have, but it is what it is. What I do know is that the Miami people had enough, and it only took them 6-7 months to decide that they were done. So
now on here, it's got one of the reasons was that he predicament became far more perilous after his Cuban mafia comment, which prompted two city leaders lambasted him for hours, and one sought assurance that he wouldn't be arrested in the middle of the night and shot while police used a throwdown gun to testify the killing.
Yeah, he made some comments that they didn't appreciate about you know, what he said, especially that mafia comment. Some folks didn't like that. So yeah, he's out of there, man. He is out.
So is that because he did something wrong, do you think, or do you think it's just he was trying to uncover some of the...
Well, it could have been a combination.
You understand? I mean, we all know there's corruption out there, or is it he was trying to uncover
maybe he
corruption?
Was, but if you're trying to uncover corruption, I would say, why wouldn't you get someone outside to investigate,
like FBI
internally?
or something like that?
Yeah, an outside organization rather than the people that are inside. If you're calling them corrupt. So you know, it's just kind of one of those things where he might have gone in there and they didn't like what he had to say or how he was doing things, or how he was handling them. So they got rid of him. Not our problem anymore, right? At least not for now, unless Chief Finner takes him back. And if he does, you know, God bless him for being a good patriot. But you know, who knows with these cops? They stick together, so. They may bring him back in.
That wouldn't be right to the guy that's in at the moment.
Yeah, they may bring him back in. Who knows? But yeah, I thought that was quite fitting since we were already in Miami. You know, we were good to move on that. Next order of news. So I hadn't heard of this lady, Alexis Sharkey, but apparently, let me see, she had quite the following on social media before she was murdered by her husband. And they started getting the trace on how she passed away. And it was starting to point to the hubby. And Lord and behold, this dude killed himself. The U.S. Marshals were kind of closing in on the situation when they found this lady's body. I think she was like 26. There they are, 26 or so. These are all Houston folks.
When was she killed?
It was.
Was it a long time ago?
I think it was like let me see. I thought it was 2019.
Because I remember hearing a story about some Houston influencer who just, they found her body like on the side of Westheimer. I'm wondering if this.
Well, there was another one. There was a black lady that was the guy came in, and I think she lived in. I think came to the apartment though, where she lived. I don't think that was on the. This might have been this one.
Yeah,
what you're thinking about.
It.
I was trying to see if I could find her. her page, if it was even up anymore.
Yeah, it says the 26-year-old influencer's naked body was found by a sanitation truck
There you go.
employee
That's the one.
alongside a Houston road. It was Westheimer. I'm 90% sure.
Yep, that is her.
For those who don't know, Westheimer is literally 1 block over from where we are.
Right. It is.
So
now,
that's the right home for us.
It's a fairly long street, so hopefully she wasn't very close to here. But nevertheless, 1 block over from
I
where
hope
we
the
are.
kid's taken care of.
Well,
She's got a little youngster. I mean,
well, the dad's gone now. He was there. They found him dead with a gunshot wound to the head in Florida, though. Was where they said they found him. But
why is it all the action happens in Florida?
I told you,
man.
I told you
hey, we said that it was. If you start here, you're gonna end up there. It's gonna be somewhere in Florida, man.
Yeah.
It just draws the people.
If you're born in Florida, just don't leave. Just stay there.
Just stay where you are. But yeah, it's unfortunate, of course, that you hear about anybody dying. But you can hope that he didn't kill her. But why kill yourself?
Not helping your own case.
You're not. Because now we get to make up our own story and say, yeah, man, he was a little rough with her. Remember that one time at that party? It just kind of gets to that point to where people make up their own narrative. And it's unfortunate. And supposedly he wasn't very honest when they were giving when asking him questions and, doing their whole little storybook run. But here's another proof of things, man. On social media, people, they portray their lives like it's all gravy and beautiful, and they're all things are just wonderful. Yeah. And here you are, you got this kind of stuff happening. It's unfortunately a tragedy that you just don't know, because social media makes it look like it's all good. But she was 26 and he was he's 50. So there was a huge age difference for sure. But
he was a chick magnet.
Yeah, and he looks. I'm not. He kind of deezed up a little bit. Not gonna say that he was on the juice, but he was a big guy. Looks like it. She looks like a tiny woman, but nevertheless, that doesn't excuse it. No. But it just looks really, really telling when they ask you questions. They say you're not being honest, and then you end up killing yourself in Florida. Yeah, it happens. We got a lot of that going on, man. Even with the Brian and Gabby.
Yeah, we can talk about that next
deal. Yeah,
somewhere else on the list.
Absolutely.
Where was she found? Florida?
Oh no.
Gabby?
Yeah.
Where was she found?
It was in Utah, wasn't it?
Okay.
The little park.
Yeah, on the side of some.
Yeah.
In some park, randomly.
Oh, that's at the Town and Country Center over there, where they write that picture.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Town and Country.
Oh well.
Very
may you rest in peace.
Whichever way you look at it, it's sad.
It is definitely sad.
Yeah.
What you got up next, sir?
Find that up. We have Brian Laundrie or something about oh yeah, sorry, Gabby Petito.
Oh yeah. You got something. I think this came out yesterday, man. So apparently the autopsy came back and strangulation was the cause of death. My wife said that, he did it. And I told you, if she said that he did it, man, he did it. So somebody strangled her. They were together. So who else does it come up to? That's why he's on the run.
When somebody gets strangled,
yes.
I mean, can they tell the size of the hands and all that stuff from a scientific point of view?
I think so. The forensics that they go through, the kind of tell.
And if it's done with the hands, I'm thinking, is that
some bruise? Neck has to bruise.
Yeah.
From the pressure, of course. I'd imagine it does.
If it's done with the hands, I mean, I know it sounds horrible to talk about, but I mean,
that's the reality of it, though, and that's why coroners, or however you pronounce it, are so important, because they can find all that stuff out.
Exactly.
They can find if she overdosed from drugs. They can do everything. So it's a profession. I mean, it's a impressive profession too, because they can break cases.
Absolutely. Wyoming is where she was found.
Do you know that in some states you don't need a license to be a coroner?
No, I didn't know that. I did not know that. But yeah, this is this was pretty telling. This really only just makes the manhunt that much more interesting because this they're already looking for him, and here we are.
Let me correct what I said. To be a coroner, you need a medical license. But to do an autopsy in some states, they don't use...
Oh, it's for the autopsy.
Yeah, they don't use people with medical licenses, which people have never... just to get the cause of death.
Yeah, so strangulation is the cause of death. It's on the autopsy report. It's been completed, and they've announced it. So this guy is suspect number one. Exactly. You got it. Suspect number one. So, Brian, if you're out there listening on your solar power radio.
Did you see the interview that Dr. Phil did a couple of days ago?
With the family?
Yeah, he did an interview with Gabby's mom and dad, and they'd both been remarried. So you had two sets of parents.
Yeah.
We talked to Gabby's family about her life, what they hope.
He called.
There you go.
And what did you get?
No,
Voicemails.
nothing. Voicemails.
And then I would send text.
The parents were actually, Gabby's parents were actually texting, right? Michael Laundrie's parents, and they haven't responded to it. Now, if something that happened, wouldn't you have the courtesy
Of course.
to text back and say something? But they didn't even respond to it.
They're guilty.
So
I don't know if y'all have heard the latest.
Accessory to murder.
There's something. That's guilty.
Yeah.
So the latest conspiracy I heard, I don't know if y'all heard this, is that they're at the parents, that Brian is at the parents' house in a bunker underneath the ground or some junk like. That crap, it happens.
Yeah.
So that's not outside the realm of possibility, man. It's like.
But another thing is they say he's out in the wilderness because he's an expert survivalist.
Yeah. I don't know. That's easy to say, but.
And then did you all hear about like the iPhone update or something where they didn't tell the FBI that they got a phone for him? They bought the exact same phone, I'm pretty sure, like 2 days before they went on a camping trip, but they gave the FBI the old phone. And then like a week or two ago, after they've been searching for like a month or whatever, they told the FBI there was a second phone.
Really?
Yeah. So they're in on it. 100%.
Man, they know something. I'm not gonna say that I don't think they helped kill the girl or anything like that, but man,
They're protecting the son.
they're protecting their kid, which
so weird hill to die on.
It definitely is. I mean, we all want to protect our children, but it's like, man, I'd be like, son, did you do it?
Dude,
did you?
I would beat my son's ass. And
It's
then
like,
take him to the
I say, first off, why are you here? If you did it, bro, don't come over here, man. I would tell. You don't want to tell on your kid, but man, I don't live that kind of life. I'm sorry.
Dr. Phil said at one point, he says, "What if you could say anything to Brian Laundrie now? What would you say?" And they all said, "Turn yourself in, just so we can put closure on it."
At one point engaged to their son, and they won't talk to their family. They won't reach out and explain that their daughter's missing.
That's weird.
They ignore it.
Yeah, it is.
That's weird. And was this recorded? When this was recorded before they were?
A couple of
she
days
was
ago.
found?
No, October 9th.
No, that's when it was released.
It was after. Yeah, I think it was after.
After she was found. Okay. Yeah, that's real. I don't know. That's special, man. And you would think they'd say something. You think they would say something about it, and that's unfortunately.
Or even come out and make a comment. With their attorney, of course.
Did you know their attorney is a real estate lawyer in New York? Not even a defense attorney?
Really?
Yeah, I think.
For the petite, for Laundrie family.
Laundrie family, yeah.
Wow. That's interesting.
Well, real estate takes all sorts.
Yeah. we defend that sometime, right? Yeah, that is very interesting. Very interesting.
Buy a house from this real estate attorney. If not,
If he can keep the Petitos out of this much heat, or the laundries out of this much heat, I bet he can do you an even better job. So.
Hey, man, you know that's right.
Whoever you are.
Whoever you are. Absolutely. Don't doubt his efforts at all. Where we at? We got this this black smoke popping idiot that ran over these folks while they were riding the bicycles here locally. I don't drive a diesel engine vehicle. Never have, actually, but I've seen them, and I've seen this smoke popping stuff that they do that comes out, shall I say. And apparently this gentleman was popping smoke. I don't know if I'm even saying that right. Which is basically shooting the exhaust from the tailpipe
we could get a
of the
video
diesel. So you can see what it is. Black smoke, yeah. You can see what that is actually.
Makers spend billions trying to reduce emissions spewing out of cars and trucks. Some owners are bucking the system, creating a lot of smoke. Political specialist Sean Boyd live for us tonight.
I didn't even know the internet. Here's what we're talking.
Where on the road?
It's a protest against environmental regulations for some, a game for others, but lawmakers say it needs to stop.
Here's what we're talking about. Coal rollers, as they call themselves, have posted videos of souped-up diesel spewing clouds of black soot on the internet, making it impossible to see and, in some cases, hard to breathe.
I didn't even know what this was.
Fort Collins, one of
rolling coal is what they call it. So basically, these bicyclists were on the road. Don't know which road it was, but anyway, they were out riding their bicycles, and this kid decides he's gonna, roll some coal in front of these bicyclists.
Roll something else instead.
Apparently, he just rolled over them instead of rolling the coal, and apparently he just got off. He didn't get any kind of charges or anything. I don't think he even had Brian Laundrie's attorney. I mean, he just got off, just period, just cause. But it was 6 different people that this dude just rolled over in his big diesel truck,
and 4 were airlifted 40 miles.
Wow.
Which range from fractures and soft tissue injuries to traumatic brain injuries.
So some of these folks may not ride a bicycle ever again, at all. This is up in Waller, which is northwest of Houston, still part of our MSA and going up that area. But
it's about what, 50 miles from
yeah. So it's terrible to even hear that these folks got injured, but then to hear that it was some rowdy horseplay kind of situation where he just thought it was going to be funny to just roll coal in front of these people and blow the big cloud of black smoke, and he ended up running over and almost killing them. And he went home with nothing.
No consequences.
None at all. Hey, don't do that again, okay? Yeah. Probably be some civil suits coming afterward, I would assume. I wouldn't say that he's off scot-free, but he's definitely probably going to run into some situations where he'll have to deal with some civil lawsuits. I mean, shoot, I would. He got off easy.
Yeah. At least some insurance claims.
Insurance for sure. Yeah, his insurance company will definitely be dropping him because they're gonna have to pay out some claims for sure. Hoping that he had some. Speaking of getting off, I know that this is kind of off on a tangent a little bit, but kind of in that same vein. So we talked last week about the kid at Timberview up in Arlington.
Yeah.
So he came to school with a gun, and he was released on bond, $75,000 bond.
But you only pay 10% of bond.
Yeah,
right?
10%, $7,500. So he paid it and got out of there. So he's there's more to that story, and I'm waiting to find out. I'm going to try to keep following it.
When he said there's more to that story, I'm like, okay, he just got back to the school and finished the job. I thought.
No, more to the story, as in typically you got a school shooting, you're not getting bail and going home. So there's video, of course, popping around with this kid getting his head beat in by another kid. So I don't know if it's one of those things where he was really afraid, and he said, "Hey, I got to do something." But nevertheless, they're to be out on bail. Yeah, there's definitely more to this story.
Because a traditional school shooting, and the fact that this is even like a definition, I guess,
right,
is like the kid walks into the school with the intent to just
plow people down.
Everybody.
Exactly.
It doesn't seem like that was the case this time, but it could have been. We just don't know. But so far, it doesn't seem like that's the case.
I guess we'll have to find out if there's more to that. Shoot, funny enough, Steve, you was up there last week in that part of the state. So you weren't too far from Arlington. No. So, but yeah, man, that came through, and we were, live on the podcast. So, but yeah, I just want to throw that out there that he is in there. Were we at number 5? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, well, we've talked about this ad nauseum,
and I have not a lot to say, but just one thing I wanted to say. So this is a little off topic, but I'm going somewhere with it. So Greg Abbott banned this song. He bans any COVID vaccine mandates, including for private employers, which is cool. I don't care. I don't really care. But if you're gonna I want you to carry the same energy into your other legislature that you draw. So I get it. You're going for the my body, my choice thing, which I totally agree with. If you don't want to get the vaccine, you don't have to. But if you're gonna do that, you got to do it for everybody.
I do not disagree.
Yeah. So
although I'm not with abortion, I don't disagree with you in that, because on the flip side of it, the same argument for me. My body, my choice, same way. So I don't disagree. I think it can be a bit of an overreach, even with me disagreeing with the act of the abortion. It can be a bit of an overreach to say that someone can't do it, especially when kind of that window, that 6 weeks window is that's kind of when folks find out.
Yeah. It's a little bit tight at 6 weeks.
But so because I didn't say the point is the Texas legislature put into a law where 6 weeks in you can't get an abortion anymore. Very quickly, is like less than a month, maybe even a couple weeks, the federal judges blocked that case, citing Roe versus Wade. It's a constitutional break. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, the Texas legislature jumped right on that to fight back. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the next couple of months. Here.
I'm not sure the 6 weeks time frame will stand, only because it's just kind of hard. I mean, woman's cycle, if it's going to be coming every 28 to 30 days or so, or whenever it comes, it's kind of tough to find out in that 2 weeks whether or not you are or not. So although my stance remains, I don't see that 6 weeks being the time frame will stand as the benchmark. But don't be out there aborting babies if you don't have to.
Yeah, and I want to say, like, just because you not support but you're okay with abortions doesn't mean you're for or against it. Right?
Sure.
And a lot of these people who are out like protesting for abortions, either for or against. It doesn't really matter what you think, because it's not your decision. It's someone else's decision to do it. You can have an opinion by all means, but should that opinion reflect on others' ability to enact
and make their decision, right?
Yeah. So it's also not your life. Like me personally, I don't think a kid should be born if the mom is already has 5 baby mamas and stuff, you know what I mean? And it's like they know they're gonna be on Section 8 and stuff. Like that's them to make their call. Now if you want to do that and you want to have the kid, I think that's the better choice.
Right.
But yeah, the option should always be there, because you don't know what people are doing. And I just wish Abbott would do a better job playing it.
Yeah, I think government period, man. Just when it comes to personal choices at times. Some of the things that you feel like folks should be involved in, and hey man, you should stop this, or you should say, they don't even touch it at all. And it's like, not our business. But everything else, you want to get involved in. It's like, come on, man, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. Make up a decision on what you want to do with your lives. So, but yeah, so as for now, it's blocked.
Yeah.
As for now, it's blocked. So we shall see where we stand with that.
While we're on the my body, my choice thing, I figure I'd throw this one up.
Why not, man?
Yeah.
So first of all, if you don't know who Kyrie Irving is, he is one of the highest paid basketball players in the league. He had some ridiculous amount of money contract that he got on his last salary, like I don't even remember what that last contract was. 160, I think he makes like 30 million, over $30 million a year is what he actually makes. So he has decided that he's not going to play. He won't practice or anything until he's eligible to be like a full participant in the games and so on and so forth.
He just wants to put his feet up and watch the Olympian podcast.
He should.
Yeah.
He could do that. And he'd hear that we're talking about him right now. Now, everyone can't do this. You got basketball players out there that they may be making $3 million a year. And they may not be afford to take this stance. I think he's doing it out of principle. But quite frankly, I think, and I don't know the stats on it before I misspeak, but I would stretch to say 90% of the NBA is vaccinated. And for him to be kind of one of the holdouts on it, it's I don't know. It's his body, his choice.
He's a big conspiracy theorist, though, too. I'm pretty sure.
He's a flat earther, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what I'll say. I'm pretty sure he's a flat earther. Like, he's big on conspiracy theories.
It's setting a good example for kids.
I don't think there's anything wrong with challenging the status quo, but flat earthing is, I think, is not the correct way to challenge that. But hey,
absolutely.
So he believes that the Earth is flat.
I think he is a flat earther.
A large percentage of the population. He's not the only one. I'm not going to put that on him, but yeah, he does think that. He probably also thinks the moon is fake. It's a projection. So
that's a huge. I need that in my game room.
No, but have y'all seen this video? This shows you what kind of dude this guy is. This is him saging his court before he plays a game.
Shut up.
What's he doing?
He's saging the court.
Okay, so this saging, this is something that's come kind of into popularity here in the last several years or so. Not to say it never existed, but you didn't see people doing this out here until as of late here. I would say in the last 5 to 7 years or
What's
so.
What's he doing? Burning sage or something?
Yeah, burning sage.
Yeah, he's kind of energy is the belief behind sage.
What is it?
It's a clearing the energy.
And yeah, people believe that when you burn it, it clears the energy in the room. So like say all three of us just start beating each other to like hell, and then next Monday we walk in here, we sage the room to reset the energy so we can come back and work together and unify. That's what it's supposed to do. So he sent a little tweet right there. Little calisthenics. So yeah. Guy's a character.
He is, man. He is. To each his own. No knock on your sage, brother, if that's what you want to do. I think he's an excellent basketball player. And
in some countries they say they've, a couple of screws loose, I guess. But
yeah. I think you can say that.
Not that he has. I'm not saying he has got,
but yeah, he's not going to be playing. So he's a large part of that crew up there in New Jersey. But I think this is principle for him. He's definitely in principle. So
it's like he's just trying to send a message.
Yeah. So we'll see how long it takes for him
to become an Instagram influencer.
Yeah. He's already an influencer.
And then when he retires, he'll be able to make just as much money on Instagram as what he did as a basketball player.
He's got enough to retire now. That dude is paid.
That's part of the problem with the society.
He can definitely
he's my boy, Dave Chapelle.
Man, okay, so
this guy's going through a lot lately.
If you have not seen the latest
and I haven't
installment of the Dave Chapelle, so he had an agreement with Netflix to do these specials with them for this sick, insane amount of money. So this latest one, called The Closer, is his final installment, and as he put it, probably his last special in a long time. He put it out. He put it out there, and it is classic Dave Chapelle. You know, he kind of says what he wants to say about whoever, and of course, he had his stake in LGBTQ elemental P XYZ community, right? That has always kind of been a topic of discussion in his specials, and he's just kind of, you know, in jest would talk about it, you know, blah blah blah. Well, in this particular one, I would have to say this is not his funniest special. So if you're going in to try to get a ton of belly laughs, it won't deliver on that, but it is his most calculated special, I would say, because everything that he's going through right now in the media, on social, it's like a foreshadowing in this special. He's talking about it, and I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but if you haven't, you need to get in there. And it has outraged that community. And the family of a transgender comic who Dave Chapelle gave an opportunity to open at one of his shows is coming out in support of him to say, hey, man, it's jokes.
That's right, it's comedy. That's the part that sometimes comedy is a better way to address different situations.
It is.
You know, to bring it to the open, because sometimes if it's open to discuss, da-da, then he gets to this point. And personally, I think Chapelle is a genius.
He is a genius.
I love him.
When you see this show,
Kevin Hart.
When you see this show, you'll understand how much of a genius this guy is.
But it's like, how else would he discuss things without fighting one another half the time? There's, you know, that's why I say to everybody, go to Ricky Gervais, go to Jim Jeffries.
Oh my goodness.
You know, no, but that's the way at times how you can address, you know, difficult situations.
Absolutely. There's a clip on YouTube by these comedians, Key and Peele, Jordan Key and
those guys.
Those guys, man, and it is called. Let me see, Key and Peele. It's called Gay Wedding Advice. Okay. So basically, you got Jordan comes in and he's talking about the you know, hey, you know, so and so's getting married.
Welcome.
To a man. This is it. This is it. This is 4 minutes.
If you go through life, you've got to have a sense of humor about it.
If you don't, man, you live in a boring.
You just take it too seriously. You've got to have a bit of sense of humor to get through it.
You've got to get in there. If you haven't seen it, The Closer. And you got to watch this in 4 minutes. You got to watch this one. What's the views on that? Let's see if the views go up on. 37 million views on that thing. This is back in 2014, but I'm telling you, that thing right there is hilarious. He's been like the spokesperson for that, and they're asking questions what to expect at a gay wedding. And he's like, man, it's like any other wedding, you know. It's just but man, they're throwing out stuff. It's hilarious.
Putting this in the description for anybody who is looking for it.
Absolutely, it is funny. But yeah, check out The Closer.
Can you go to some of the comments on that, Jack?
Oh yeah, love to.
Well, what did it say? The funny thing, Delroy's family is trying 100% harder than
some people's. Because some folks don't. They're at least asking questions. As stereotypical as it is, you know, they're asking questions.
Yeah, look, do you see that there from the homosexual? Go off a bit, Jack. Yeah, look, I don't care what anyone says. Active member of the homosexual community is the greatest Key and Peele line ever.
Yeah, that was they put out some that are kind of corny at times, but they're still kind of funny. But this one, I laughed out loud several times because it was funny. It was funny, and I know people of the community, and I have no hate against them at all. I wouldn't let anybody mistreat them. Not in front of me. I wouldn't participate in it at all because that's, you know, they're still one of God's children. So as far as I'm concerned, hey man, that's your lifestyle. That's what you want to do. It's not my business. But hey, we still got to treat people like people. Period. But nevertheless, I am gonna laugh at you though if it's a good joke. I am guilty of laughing. So The Closer will deliver on that. And if you watch it, you'll see kind of what Dave is going through right now, which he doesn't care. Dave is a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, but it's getting
He don't care.
I bet you people are buying that Netflix to.
Oh,
It's the best form of
it's
advertising.
more publicity. Period. It's on every channel. Everybody. It was on CNN.
People want to see it themselves now. Just so.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Go out there and get Netflix.
Go out there and get it if you don't have it already. Old Davy Dave. So, what we got next?
You can go to your pyramid scheme.
So why for you're watching, you're listening and watching content since we're in that vein with Netflix and such. So, LuLaRoe, it was is a company that sold or sells leggings, clothing company. And when it was started on the MLM platform, multi-level marketing platform. Well, they were under investigation. These two people here, let me see. I forget their names. The Stidhams, I think. Stidhams.
Mormon.
Yeah, Mormon people. Right, they were Mormon people. Anywho, it was a $1 billion business for them. They had their family involved. I mean, it was a big deal for them, or it was a big deal bringing in the business because it would allow you to build your business and sell to other people. They only got a small cut out of the sales and you kept the rest, blah, blah, blah. Well, where the issue came was that the way that the company was making money or getting paid was based on people joining. That's where most of the revenue was coming. So if I start the business and I convince you, Steve, to come in, hey, Steve, you want to come in and sell some leggings with me, man? My bonus checks was coming off of you joining and not off of the revenue of the pants or leggings that were being sold. And that's what makes it a pyramid scheme because it's based on me just kind of getting you in into the system.
Are those illegal in the U.S.?
Those are.
Oh, okay.
So they kind of changed the structure of it to try to kind of conform it to it. But as you listen to the stories, this is a documentary on Amazon Prime. It's called LuLaRoe. I've never seen an actual movie or on Prime that had 5 stars that had over 1,000 reviews, but it's completely 5 stars, not 4.5, because it's so interesting hearing what they would tell these people, and they convinced these people to get into this business. And now all these people are crying because they're a business. So didn't do, although they were complicit in it, they're upset because the Stidhams they're still sitting filthy rich. And some of these folks, they lost their houses, they lost their cars, and all of the things that they went through and they listened to from them. It's almost kind of like, well, you made me do it, and now look at what happened to me. I don't know. I kind of have mixed feelings about that part of it. It's like, look, you're grown. You know, you walked into it. They changed the structure. You continue to stay with it. So now, who you crying to? So it's a good documentary. LuLaRoe. I thought it was cool because we still have multi-level marketing companies. I personally have taken part in one that I made money in it, and I know that the structure was set up properly. So it's not that they're not illegal. You just have to make sure that you're working with one that is reputable and they're doing it the right way. But this particular, the way that this one actually set up and was started, I mean, some of these folks are making 30, 40 grand a month in this business, but it was based on people joining versus what they were actually selling. So it's a good one to check out. LuLaRoe on Amazon Prime. LuLaRoe, yeah, absolutely. If you're bored,
and it's no relation to, is it Lululemon?
No. That's a different company. Yeah, that's a different company. So, what else we got?
Did we talk about the Lauren show thing?
No, we didn't.
Oh, we should have thrown that in with the Gabby Petito.
We did not, because quite frankly, I don't know about y'all, but I hadn't heard about this pretty little Asian lady at all. But she has been missing, apparently, for as long as Gabby was missing. Almost kind of like the Jelani kid up in Chicago was missing as well. So She was like, yeah, June 28th. She was out with friends, they say, and apparently she walked away from the campsite or something. I don't know. I don't know what happened with it and why it didn't get as much push. Well, of course, we know why it didn't get as much push, but that'll be the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it seems that these families with people of color don't get as much press as other stories, and it's kind of hard to sit by and see it being talked about. But this Lauren Cho lady, she was out. She walked away from wherever she lived or whatever, and like 5 o'clock in the morning, they have not seen her since. I don't know what's come on it. We wanted to bring it to everyone's attention so that you at least know her name, Lauren Cho.
Know the face.
That is her. 30 years old, 5'3", last seen wearing a yellow T-shirt and jean shorts. Yeah, it looks like she got a tattoo. What is that? A bunny rabbit? I don't know what that is on her left shoulder.
Okay.
But yeah, that she's been missing. And I don't. They haven't found the body, as far as I understand. And we're missing in the Yucca Valley on June 28th. Yeah, so it's just been a waiting game for her.
Always is.
It's just been a waiting game that these ladies, these people have kind of been waiting on their family to hear. And you'll see people post things on Twitter, and you see little things about, hey, I'm glad to hear that Gabby Petito got such great media coverage, but what about, can we please keep the same energy for blah, 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 whoever the other person might be, in which they're 100% right. You know, if we're going to put it out there for everyone to hear. So Lauren Cho, you heard it here. She is missing as well.
Yep.
All right.
See the gunman in the post.
Oh yeah,
I'm out of Market Watch things, so that's cool. So I gotta find this article.
So there was in the post office, or what was the? I didn't know all the details on that
I don't know
one.
about this.
Oh, in Miami?
Memphis, I thought.
Memphis, that's right, yeah.
Let's see.
This was yesterday, wasn't it?
Gunman kills 2, then himself at the Postal Service. So, of course, we know that whole phrase about going postal came up because there was like a rash of people doing this at the post office. My cousin works at the post office. So, you know, it's always kind of one of them things you kind of laugh and joke about or whatever. But I don't know what the circumstances were with this one. And if it said, let's see, fatally shot Tuesday.
No identities or motives were released by link or culp at the brief news.
This is in the East Lamar Carrier Annex, southeast of downtown Memphis.
2 male workers were fatally shot during a robbery. That was 11 years ago, but now another 2 have been shot.
Yeah, that was a whole lot of stuff that had happened in Memphis that week. Apparently, when I was reading the article, there had been a shooting inside a Kroger where one person was shot or killed and 14 other people were wounded before the guy shot himself. So I'm sure people are on pins and needles in that Memphis area when you think about the gun. But we haven't heard anybody, you know, get on and talk about gun violence, or I haven't heard anything about it like they usually do. Right.
At this point, it's just normal.
Yeah, it's considered
It's
part
like,
of American
it happened.
life.
It's just part of it, right? Nobody gets up and says anything.
You have like South Park making jokes about school shootings and stuff at this point.
Yeah.
Like it's just part of American society. Crazy.
It is unfortunate. I think I saw a place in town that it's set up like there's a paintball indoor paintball setting.
And it's a school.
I think it's a school. Yeah,
Sus.
it's set up like a school. Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's where we live. That's where we live now, man. And that's
interesting.
It's an occurrence that it's set up. It's like, wow, why a school though, bro?
Yeah.
Pick something else.
Literally anything else.
Literally anything else. I mean, it might have been a great idea.
If you want to put an idea into a kid's head, just take him down there.
Take him down there, right? Oh, this is where I can do it. I can do. Yeah, I mean, I know it's paintball, but it's just not. That's not cool to do that. So.
Yeah.
Anywho, I know we had the waiting for conversation. Let's hit this Jon Gruden thing first, because it kind of goes into the kind of in line about this whole cancel culture kind of deal.
Oh, the coach.
Yeah, number 8. So Jon Gruden is an NFL coach, well, was an NFL coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. Prior Super Bowl champion coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I think this is his second run with the Raiders. But nevertheless, he stepped down as the coach of the Raiders after some emails came up about that had some homophobic and misogynistic language in it. Now, backstory. He made a comment about DeMaurice Smith, who's a color commentator, analyst, or whatever, on one of the shows, and said that the guy, it's spelled like DeMaurice, yeah, that the guy's lips were as big as Michelin tires.
Oh my
okay,
God.
He said that, and that was pretty that was pretty bad. I would say that was not a good look for him. Made that comment or put it out there, and people were kind of defending him. That he's not racist, but just saying how big black lips his were, and blah blah blah, so on and so forth. It was unfortunate, but it seems like people were coming to his defense to say, hey, he's not racist. Derek Carr, who's the quarterback, was saying, hey, he's not racist. Blah, 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 such, whatever the case is, in this email. Fast forward to a gentleman who was in the high office with the Washington Redskins, now the Washington football team. At the time, they were investigating him. I think the guy's last name is Allen. Allen. With the Washington football team. He was actually being investigated for some goings on or something that either he wasn't supposed to do. And they were going through that guy's emails. And in going through his emails, they found some conversation between him and Jon Gruden that contained homophobic language. He was calling Roger Goodell, who was an NFL commissioner, a maggot, but with an F, of course. He called him
tonight the
that
NFL
in there. He was making other little comments about the women referees being in the NFL, different little things that he made. Now, mind you, this was about 8-10 years ago, these emails.
Yeah. Long time.
Long time. And not that I'm saying that what he said was right, but when is it safe? When is the window safe enough for you not to be held? Now, when he was making the racist comments, people were still kind of in defense of him. But when it came out that he made the homophobic comments, it was a wrap for this dude. He was done. And those comments, those emails were from 8-10 years ago. And again, not defending him, not saying it was right. But it just seems that, man, how long, when is the locker room talk safe?
Well, I'll say, I think it goes down to the types of people, you're dealing with, right? So, when you're being racist, these people have dealt with racism for the past 400 years because they're people color. It's like embedded into the system.
Right.
With homophobia, it's always been here, but it hasn't at the same time.
It's been undercover.
Yeah, in the last like 5 or 10 years, it's been going crazy. And like the people who are of the LGBTQ sector, they're all like young for the most part. Mm-hmm. And they're just always on social media. Like they're always linking with each other. So it makes sense like how this caught fire more quickly.
It definitely caught fire, bro, because it's like, dang, y'all was cool when he talking about my man lips, but when he said something about old Roger, I mean, he out of there. Yeah. I mean, come on, man. I don't know, man. It's unfortunately a fall from grace for old Jon, but the crazy thing is that they weren't even investigating him. He was not the person that, you know, they were looking for. I was trying to find this guy's name.
So when they did the investigation and they
Bruce Allen, that's the guy's name. He was the team's president. And
so when they did the investigation, how was the emails ever leaked?
Well, I guess they were going back in the server for this Bruce Allen guy.
Yeah, but if they're leaked, are they public information?
Apparently, if he was already under investigation.
I'm not saying it was right or wrong to say that. I mean, times change, and
I don't know, man. I mean, it's if I have a conversation with you that I think is, you know, safe, because I think it was his personal email that he emailed, because he wasn't even a coach at that time. But when he made the comments, I mean, it's a footprint, and we all know, you know, you can delete an email, but it's still there.
It's still there.
It's still going to be there. So when this team executive, when they started searching his emails, that's what the comments came up. There was homophobic language and lewd images and blah, 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 blee, blee, blee. But he felt like the safest thing for him to do was to go ahead and resign, so it didn't take away the attention from the team. Whether there'll be anything further from that, but this guy had signed a 10-year, $10 million contract, $10 million a year contract, so $100 million, and I think this is his 4th year in on it. So not that he's hurting for money, but it just kind of sucks to fall, you know, away from it like this.
Especially for something almost 2 decades old.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Because you can kill someone 2 decades ago and you'd be getting out. So like by government definition, you'd be reformed.
Thank you. They allow you back into the general public with everybody else as a citizen. Man, you got an email? Nah, bruh. So it's I don't know. He must have really been. We didn't see the email, so he must have really been going in. But yeah, they didn't like what he had to say. So
yeah.
Now, could he have stayed in power and you know, kind of fought through it? He probably could have. But to his point, he just decided, you know, to not take attention away from the team. He stick with it. So
yeah. The last point here, huh?
Yep.
So this one I added in. It's very interesting because as an American, it's very important to understand your place in the world and how other people view you based on just being American, period. So I don't know if you guys remember, but back when we were withdrawing from Afghanistan, I think like 2 or 3 days before we finally got out, America bombed a house. It was real big news. They bombed like one house like.
It was by mistake or something, right? Is that the one that?
Well, they said he was curating a bombing, and they have proof of him bringing bombs into like suspicious areas. Mm-hmm. Come to find out, he was a water delivery guy, and the canisters he was carrying were water, and they assumed it was bombs, like stuff to make bombs. Well, that family, I think it killed 6 or 7 children. Does it say in here? They haven't received compensation from the U.S. military. And also, no one knows that was a mistake either. Like, you kind of knew, but, like, it's not like we knew. So it's just unfortunate to.
It is unfortunate,
see
man.
See if they say how many kids died. Yeah, this is the house or the area that got bombed. It got drone strike. Like they didn't even try. They just put it there. How many kids were? I'm pretty sure it was like 6 or 7 kids out of the 10 people who died.
If it was one kid, that's too many.
Yeah.
Too many, period.
Well,
and it looks like just a residential area.
The question is that Americans need to ask themselves is, do we need to be the policeman of the world?
We don't need to be, but we kind of put ourselves in that
But
position.
at the same time, it's like America is always in everybody else's business, and that's why there's a lot of people that don't like America. Because we're making ourselves the bullseye. So, and I really think that we need to sort of stay out of it and, take a back seat and put the money into our local communities. I mean, a typical example that I thought was interesting, but we are not discussing it on the podcast just yet, is the guy that resigned from the Pentagon for the cybersecurity.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying, we're putting too much money into the F-35 program and billions of dollars in that, and we're getting left behind on the cybersecurity. So that alone is we're making ourselves vulnerable, and I really think that's, is what. And then it becomes a conversation. Well, should he have said it out in public, or should he have said it, behind closed doors? Well, are people going to listen to him if he says it behind closed doors?
No, but the thing is, like, I feel like everybody already knows this. So
they do.
So he was just trying to prove to everybody that at least the government knows about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can't separate the military-industrial complex. That is like U.S. is a corporation country, but the military is a corporation you cannot mess with. It's just
right.
It's locked in. It doesn't even matter. It's there. You can't fix that. You can't change it.
But I do think we need to put more into the cybersecurity for the US.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you.
China is definitely slipping up there, becoming very prominent.
If we was in any type of world war, and God pray that we're not, I mean, the first thing we'd lose is all our utilities and everything that goes with it.
I feel like society is too advanced for World War, right? Because like if you look back to World War II, think about D-Day. If these kids in these boats pulling up to France, were on Twitter and you had Nazis on the beach, they'd be like, "Hey, please don't shoot us, and we won't shoot you." Cool. Like on some hashtag D-Day type of deal. It will work because a lot of those kids did not want to fight. They were drafted.
Exactly.
And then there's a lot of propaganda that went into it, but I don't think that could happen now. I think, if anything, you have a nuclear fallout where we're just bombing each other. But as far as World War III goes, where we're all fighting on front lines, I think it's very, very unlikely. And plus, I will. Good luck trying to draft me, Mr. Biden. Good luck.
Like, find me. I'm going to go with Brian Laundrie.
Yeah. Turn into Brian Laundrie real quick.
Exactly. But yeah, nevertheless, man, I don't know. That military piece is that's a whole different animal.
Yeah.
Whole different animal, man. For sure.
But I do think we need to get our act together, and it's all about. It's a bit like buying a Ferrari outside and putting all your money in a Ferrari outside just because everybody sees it and think that that's power and success.
Right.
Oh yeah.
What we should be doing is putting the money in the back end, which is the cybersecurity, and putting more in that part.
So do you see the U.S. defense, they call it defense, as defense, or do you see it as offense? Because when I played basketball, the coach always said the best defense or the best offense is a good defense.
Right.
So I can't tell if America is going for defense because they're intruding in foreign land. You know what I mean? So is that offense, but they're doing it to protect American assets? So I don't know if it's considered defense. But either way, military complex defense is not. We all know it's all about cybersecurity and
of course
today's
because that can shut you down, as we know. earlier last week, Instagram and Facebook was offline for 6-7 hours.
And I feel when that happens, it's countries doing that just to prove a point. So we've got you. We can affect you.
I hope that's the case.
You know?
Very, very, very well might be the case.
You're not as strong as you think you are.
Right. Very well might be the case.
That's
man.
honestly what I think it is, you know.
I think, and again, just like capitalist competition, I think competition is good. So when people do that, it's really showing like people like Zuckerberg and all these corporations like, hey, you need to start stepping it up because we know how to do this X, Y, and Z. So you're not as secure as you think you are. So that'll make them a better business at the end of the day.
We hope it does.
Because some of these kids, man, they hack this stuff and they're like, man, it was so easy to get in. Like, bro, you're not. It's not as watertight as you thought it was. So, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, because like with hacking, you can figure out like 1,000 ways to hack something, and all the company has to do is block that one way. But as soon as you find that new way, like all the other 999 ways are thrown out the door because that one new way works.
Exactly.
So hacking will always be a thing. And there's some guy I follow on Twitter, and he was saying he was just spitting out of his butt, but he was saying that we should take some of that money from the industrial complex and just pay kids to like hack the U.S. network.
I don't disagree.
Over and over, and then whoever wins gets or whoever does it gets a bonus, and then explains like how they did it, and so then the government can take that information.
But the Pentagon employs hackers.
They say they do.
They don't. It's not the same though. So there's a guy by the name of Frank Abagnale, Abagnale.
I see him yet.
You ever heard of that name? Tom Hanks did a movie about this guy. Frank Abagnale is a convicted felon who went to work for us in the country. This guy infiltrated all types of. This guy was the attorney general in the DA in Louisiana. He was a pilot for Pan American Airlines. He was flew all over the country illegally as a pilot. Never actually he was a chief resident in a hospital. No doctor's license, no nothing at all. Came from a fairly affluent family. So, but he had a photographic memory. So super, super smart. And he always had, as you can see in the picture, always had kind of that whitish, grayish hair. So he looked older than he actually was. And this guy, he tells the story. Catch Me If You Can, of course, once you get Hollywood involved, they glamorize it or whatever. But I've heard the story of him telling it. He was an opportunist, so he would just take and go in. He would forge checks, and he literally was so good at it. When they finally caught him, the FBI, I think it was the FBI, they hired him to come in to show. I want to say he didn't do more than 10 years in prison. But man, he was just amazing at what he did. And they hired him. They hired him to come in to show what he did, how he was able to spot the forgeries and all the little behind the scenes kind of stuff that he did. So to your point, Jack, I think it would definitely be worthwhile. You probably wouldn't even have to pay them kids a whole lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
But hey, we'll buy you some Bitcoin. How about that?
Dude,
and they'd be like,
that's a year's salary right there, too.
Exactly.
So you just send those kids. And you have information to that Bitcoin. You can track it.
Exactly. So if I'm not saying the movie's great, but I knew the story before the movie came out, so I was a little disappointed. But Frank Abagnale, he's one of those criminal geniuses that lived through impersonating stuff. So, oh man, I guess we can close out on one other thing, a little highlight. We'll talk about a little competition. So apparently, Captain Kirk made it to space today, and they landed over there at the Corn Ranch.
Who?
William Shatner. Blue Origin is back already, so he's officially the oldest person to travel to space at 90 years old.
A lot of excitement, as I know you know, about this trip, especially for you. I was really struck by how candid you've been in some of your interviews, that you were a little terrified, you said, a little frightened, obviously excited. This weather delay, is that helping or hurting those feelings?
It's extending.
No, it isn't. It's a CNN. But yeah, apparently they're back.
It's, you know, it's a
they shot off this morning, and they landed now in Corn Ranch out there in Van Horn. So he's officially the oldest to have traveled to space at 90 years old, or young, however you want to call it.
In and out of these very difficult chairs.
I didn't realise he was 90 years old, Captain Kirk.
Captain Kirk, yes sir. He is out there, man. Yep. So that's it.
William Shatner.
That's it. I just wanted to throw that out there. Let him know. But yeah, that's the.
Congratulations, Mr. William Shatner.
Absolutely, Captain Kirk. Still going up to the moon, huh? Still going up to space. That's it for the table today, man. I think we've covered it all.
Well, we wish everybody a good week.
Absolutely, and as usual, of course, we'll be back.
Stay happy.
Next Wednesday, the same time. Invite somebody.
Yeah.
Let somebody know about the table and
like, comment, and put your comments.
Absolutely. If you need any information from us, it's going to be down in the description below. And anything that we talked, the little movie clips we talked about will be down as well. We thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.